I think we can start by summarizing the last sprint anyway, can't we? Yeah.
Sure.
Just give me a minute. I'll just get it all up. What's the other thing? Right, let's put those things away. Put that away as well. So, anyone got anything interesting in the meantime? What was that? What was that issue you had about the salt formula? We can have a quick natter about that while we're waiting. The testing in the salt
Um,
formula.
okay, so I found a bug a few days ago or a week ago or something. So let me get the number up. But so the bug was in a part of the formula which isn't currently tested,
Right.
which is installation of libgit or Python git or I can't quite remember the library version of libgit, or the Python version of libgit. I mean, it's not installed properly on Debian because there's no default value for one of the values, and in fact, that part of the formula is quite confusing. Anyway, so
Does anyone here know? Does anyone here know about that? Because I haven't really played with that myself, actually. Have you? Any ideas?
No.
No, haven't tried that in these days.
Is there any issue opened?
There is, yeah, just 466.
Okay. I will look at it.
I'll put it up on my screen in a second. Let's see. Just getting the last bits in place here.
No, it's not. I'm not trying to say that the bug is difficult to solve or anything like that. My question is, this is a part of the formula that isn't tested. And so rather than just fix the bug, should I also develop some tests for it? And the reason I bring that up is I know that in SSF formula, I think I'm right in saying once you have suites, it makes updating the distros or the Docker images a lot more difficult.
It makes it more difficult?
Yeah, because I think you have to kind of manually specify most of the list, or that's what I found with the Vault formula anyway. So, I mean, I guess what I'm saying, it obviously makes sense that we should be testing different parts of the formula, but I don't want to add to the burden of then the SSF formula, you know, the more regular updates that you do, because if I'm correct.
What I tend to do is I just try to catch up afterwards. So where I get now the notice in the from the code owners, I can then catch up afterwards. If, like for example, this week Javier had something. What was the last PR you did, Javier? I've forgotten. Which formula was it? Before Let's Encrypt, the one before that.
System D.
Yeah, the System D one. I didn't get a chance to look at it after Javier had put it in, and it had some changes that I had to catch up with. But because I had that notification, I was able to catch up in my own time. So it's not really much of a problem. You don't have to make that something that prevents you from moving forward.
I'm just trying to be kind of collaborative, I suppose, and not putting you out so much. And yeah, I guess maybe this is the first time this kind of thing has come up, that we should establish some kind of guidelines. I mean, you know, we want the tests, the formulas to be tested as much as possible, right? Different parts of the formula, different parameters, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll come back to that 1 second. You were saying pygit2, right?
Yeah,
So it looks like this code over here, which hasn't been touched for about 5 years.
yeah.
Uh,
The settings are kind of, or the way it's set up is a bit confusing, really. And as a consequence, there's no default value for the package name for Debian.
right.
So, I mean, this isn't a difficult bug or anything like that. It's more, my question is more around, because it's not tested, and that's the only reason really the bug is there, I suppose. Should I not just fix the bug, but actually develop the tests as well? Test first and then fix.
Sure. See, what I see is this, going back to the SSF as well. That is not supposed to stop anyone from moving forward. I would like people to feel very free and comfortable to add, to modify things and try things out. I'll normally get a ping anyway, like I said, if there's a PR. I can then run it through the automation, even if afterwards, and Noel's put loads and loads of PRs in, for example. And what's happening is I'm going through them afterwards, and I'm just, it's not too difficult for me because most of it's automated. So I can then either add a commit or discuss it if I need to with the contributor, and we can come to a compromise if needed, or whatever needs to be done. It's really not a problem from my end. And also with this semantic release, I would really like to make people feel comfortable to just to move things forward. I mean, this is a really old state file, and please just feel free to do whatever you like with it, because it hasn't been touched. It's not maintained. Don't know how many people are actually trying to use it. So let's get it. Let's refresh it. Let's get it out there. We've got semantic release. We've got tags. So if anyone has a problem, they can use the tags to keep themselves safe, if you like. And at the same time, we can use breaking changes if we need to and keep moving forward. And I think I'd prefer to see that happening. I don't want to be restricted. I think I want things to move forward and be developed and encourage that.
Okay. Fine.
Is that what others think as well? That's the whole point of this, right? Was to get this out there so we could actually start moving forward without being stuck. Like, oh, what's going to happen if, we introduce a breaking change? Well, now when we introduce a breaking change, it's very clearly outlined in the change log, in the release notes, by the version tag. So, we can move forwards now. I think we should move forward.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's the point of semantic release.
Absolutely.
That's the idea.
Excellent. Javier, you good with that?
Totally, yes.
Sure. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'm going to, yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, brilliant. Feel free, please, and tests and stuff aren't under SSF anyway, so tests will go in as you like. It's only the sort of structuring, and the structuring is, most of it's automated anyway, so please feel free.
Yeah, well, the crux of the issue is, from what I did with the Vault formula, this is my understanding anyway.
Yeah.
The Vault formula has some different tests, so there are different suites. There's 3 different suites.
Yeah, let's go to
and from my experience of SSF formula, because of these suites, the list of the matrix, list of the matrix is actually manually specified in SSF formula. So when I updated SSF formula for Vault formula with 3000, it was actually a kind of a mind-numbing job to manipulate this list of formulas, of distros in the matrix.
Yeah.
And what I'm conscious of is, if you go down a little bit, there's this list here of valid and invalid.
Okay. This section here, don't worry about too much. Okay, so I don't want anyone to worry about that there. that's really, really easy to make, and it's not. Just don't worry about that, because that's just about the commented values. When we have, and
Mhm.
I can have
But
nothing in there. Yeah, go on. But it's this part here that's important.
yeah, but it's there for it's kind of it's almost there for aesthetic reasons. I think I understand that. But what I'm saying is, many of the formulas which don't have different suites of
Yeah.
tests, they take the default matrix of platforms, which means you only make a change in one place
Okay.
and
Let
it
me.
updates many different formulas. And I'm just conscious of the fact that if and when I add suites to salt formula, it will create this manual handwritten matrix for the
Okay.
for salt formula, and I'm just conscious of that. And before I went ahead, I just wanted to kind of check in on
Okay.
that.
Okay. So just to clarify from my side, the only bit that's really important is the platform's matrix, and that's always only 6 or 7 lines, and it's quite clear to understand what's going on there. The rest of that, like you said, is just window dressing. It's just
Yeah.
aesthetic. It could be nothing if necessary. I mean, I did one today. Which one was it? And it was just one line in that commented includes. It really doesn't matter. So
Okay.
you don't need to worry about that. All we need to do, I mean, the suites are very short. So you see, I know this is all probably very, very heavy, and I was going to go into detail, but each suite is just that little section there, and that doesn't change very much. It's quite easy to put together. And likewise, another suite is there. And then all I do is I cross-reference each platform. So the first 4 bits of the, first 4 bits of the what is it again? I'm forgetting where I am now. The list is actually the actual platform. And then the last one is the suite. So it doesn't really matter, because there's only going to be 6 or 7 lines here, even if there's 5 suites.
Okay, fine.
So it's not a problem. The commented includes was just there just to control the number of, because if you did a kitchen list on the Vault formula now, I don't know if I can quickly do that. Can I pull that up? Let me see if I can quickly pull that up. So if I did, kitchen list, let's do the
There's
B.
20 or 30 platforms, I think, or something.
What's that, sorry?
There is at least
Well,
20,
there'll be the 6 or
20
7
platforms, no?
distros multiplied by the number of suites. But
Yeah, so what you've got with the Vault formula, I mean, it's still trying to calculate here. There's about a good, I can't remember, a large number.
Yeah, there'll be about 20 odd.
No, there'd be more than that. Much more than that. I mean, we'll come back to that. Look, it's struggling at the moment to find it. It'll figure it out in the end, and we'll see it. But what I've done here is, rather than have every single possible suite from these 3, there's 3, no, sorry, there's 4 suites here, aren't there? Or there's 3 suites. And when you, like I said, because we don't have any includes, what I found is the formulas that have includes defined, they don't end up with as many results in kitchen list B. So you see there, I mean, that's a large number there, whatever that is. So you're looking at a good, we didn't want to see all of those commented.
There's more multiplication there. Yeah.
So you don't want to see all of those commented out in the actual travis.yaml. So what I've done is I've just said, these are the ones we want to see. I don't want to see all of those. I just want to see these.
Yeah.
So I only want to see these. So what I've done, I've selected the main suite, if you like, or I think we decided this together. And normally that will be default anyway. So if there's a default suite and another suite, I'll just take the platforms that we have defined for that. Basically, do not be scared by this section. It really isn't important at all. It's just there to control the commented lines. So we don't have too many. Yeah. It's really not hard to maintain either. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
So it's just to counteract kitchen list, because kitchen list can become enormous, like a good 50 platforms.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's try and crack on with some of what we've got here. Thanks for bringing those things up, David. So let's have a look at this. Javier did an amazing thing. So if you remember last week, we had trying to find out if we can find a solution for the net managers and all the images and stuff, can we put them somewhere more official? And we did speak to, is Tyler around? He's not around.
No,
No, he's not around.
not today.
Doesn't matter, but Tyler did get me linked with Bryce, who deals with a lot of the CI for Salt, and we did discuss some things together. And Javier actually managed to figure out how to get. How did you do it, Javier? How did you figure this out?
I mentioned this to you. I just tried to create the group, and it offered me the same as to you, Salt Formulas 1. I said, oh, okay, well, it should be taken, but when I checked the repo, it was giving a 404, so I went to try to change the name from Salt Formulas 1 to Salt Formulas, and it allowed me. So it was just pure luck, I guess.
Yeah, it's strange because I think I tried the same thing, but it didn't work for me. But in any case, Javier managed to get us actual salt stack formulas. So we have the same effectively as GitHub, just salt stack formulas in GitLab. So he's done that. And so now we have the outline, as in the group or the organization is available there. So we can start transferring it over. So that's one of the steps. In terms of Docker Hub, we didn't manage to get it because that's taken and we don't know who's got it. So what we've done instead is we've got SS formulas, and that will hopefully become the place where we'll host our images from in the future.
Right, okay. So just to step back a little, you said you spoke with Bryce, but the result was that they didn't want the Docker images in Salt, Salt Stack.
They didn't want it in their organization, in the actual main Salt organization, but they were perfectly happy with it being done in any other official Salt Stack Formulas organization. So you can see they're actually part of the team here as well, in Salt Stack Formulas. They've joined in there. So they just didn't want it there. I didn't get the full reasoning behind it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I think it's good that we've got our own organization here as well now, and using the GitLab CI, we should be able to do some interesting things. Have you had a chance to have a look at the CI yet and figure things out, how it's going to work out?
No, haven't tried. I will try probably later. I have some experience with GitLab, so I can see if we can manage that. Sorry, now that you mentioned one silly thing, but what about reserving in GitHub saltstack-images?
So you're saying, let's see.
It doesn't seem to be taken.
So you mean over here, saltstack-images?
Yeah,
but in Docker Hub, not in GitHub.
Okay, in Docker Hub. And so something a bit more obvious. Why can't I click there?
Yeah, it's free. Nobody seems to have taken it. Or at least it didn't.
And anything, because we haven't started using this at the moment. So if we've got something better, so you're saying salt stack, but you can't have dash here, can you? It just has to be salt stack.
Images, that one, yeah.
It doesn't allow dashes in Docker Hub, does it?
Yeah,
so
you're right.
So it's not taken, like you said. Yeah, if we want to do that as well. How do you guys feel?
My reasoning behind that is that it makes sense, their images, and then we can put their test images or whatever other images we want.
How do you guys feel? Do you prefer that one?
I just want to say, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but GitLab itself offers a Docker image registry within your organization.
I checked that. They've got a 10 gigabyte limit.
Oh, right, okay. On storage or?
Yeah. So I think we're way over that already, aren't we? In Net Managers. Do you know how big Net Managers is?
Yeah, but I never tried to set them up in GitHub directly. Also, I don't know if we are getting to the 10 gigs. We have 30 images. They are half a gig each. So,
well, also, we don't need to keep all of the images, surely.
Yeah.
Of course, over time, the problem is there are some formulas that are still using some of the old images, and until someone gets around to moving them up, if we take the images out, then those won't run at all.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem, is the transfer across formulas. It takes time. It takes a bit of
Well,
effort.
that's, that time thing is exactly where I was pointing at in my earlier query. But, the more differences there are between formulas, the maintenance becomes more difficult. But yeah, anyway. we'll move on.
I'm saying, in terms of that, I'm saying moving forward is a great thing. It's actually what gets left behind that's the problem. Those are the ones that give me the most trouble. Where a formula is using the latest images, that's great, because that then matches everything we're doing. But where we've got now 2017 still in here, for example, and there are some formulas still using that, that's where it gets tricky. Or even the develop. I think there might be a couple of formulas still using develop even. I don't know. I think I managed to move those across. But in any case, it's moving forward is good. It's being left behind or lagging. That's what really causes the problems. So I'd like to keep things moving forward, and that wouldn't be such a big problem.
I guess that I have no issues leaving there the images for life if needed. So if you want to move forward with some other repo and move the new formulas there, I'm perfectly okay leaving the images there. Just,
Yeah, we're going to end up with the same problem wherever we go, aren't we? So when we start with the next, whether it's the GitLab container registry, or whether it's this one over here, Docker Hub, we're still going to end up with old ones once the new versions of Salt come out, because someone still needs to go through and actually pull those formulas up to the latest versions of Salt. Do you understand? So yeah, thank you for that. That's going to be useful if you can keep yours, but we're going to end up with this problem again. And then the 10 gigabyte limit that we have with GitLab, I think we'll hit it pretty quickly, because we won't be getting rid of the older images quick enough.
yeah.
There's no limit on Docker Hub, is there?
As far as I know, no. For public repos, they have no limit.
See, what we could do, I don't know how feasible this is or whether it's even important. We could have, some of the main images or the latest images in GitLab, and leave the older ones in Docker Hub, maybe. I don't know. How about that as an idea?
Do we what's the interest in having part of them in GitLab? Isn't Docker Hub sufficient? Or
David, what was your?
All our
I was just pointing out. I was just pointing out that this was available and it was there, as part of the account that we already had. Really, I don't think there's any particular advantage. And in fact, what in kitchen.yaml, it's actually the URL is more convoluted if you use GitLab. But so yeah, actually, if we use Docker Hub, it is actually simpler. And if there's no size limit, then that's perfect.
Yeah, it only says it's a soft limit anyway, but it does count as part of the repository size limit. Anyway, there's no, and we're in Docker at the moment. It's working out fine for us, Docker Hub, I mean. So I think we should maybe just stick with that for now. And at least we know we have this in case we ever need it.
The only real advantage to GitLab would be you can keep this container registry private, but it's not very useful for us, really.
I suppose if we had any test images like that, we don't want anyone else to use, and we want to keep them somewhere.
Exactly, yeah.
Guys, I have to drop for another meeting, sorry.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for joining us.
Catch up later.
Okay, take care of yourself. Cheers. All right, so that was the first issue. So we've got movement on that one now, finally. So that should be moving to GitLab in the next sprint or so. What was this one here?
Imran, I just want to update you just to say Tyler's joined the meeting, I think. So
excellent.
If there's anything that comes up.
Actually, Tyler, now that you're here, hi, how are you doing?
Yeah. Well,
Is-
he's in the list, so.
Okay. Well, yeah, when he comes in, I have got a question for him, but that's when he's available. Okay, quickly, just briefly, we had the updates for the new versions of SALT 3000.3 and 2019.2.5. All of those images are available now. So that's the main point there. That's all been done. So when you're making formulas or you're reviewing PRs, you can look out for those to make sure the latest versions are being used. So that's that. Another thing that happened very recently is I noticed that, actually I already have this open somewhere, I think. Let me just, right, this is the one. I noticed in Slack that the Python 3.8 support had been added to the master branch. So we gave it a go and tried to, so basically I think this is one of the epics, I think, which contains all the tasks that were related to getting Python 3.8 working. Since this has been done, it opened up the door for, Ubuntu 2004 and Fedora 32, because these are both
Okay.
Python 3.8. And at the same time, I was waiting for this sort of time because 15.2 of OpenSUSE Leak came out recently as well. So we've now got those platforms running as well. So there's two things now in terms of the latest versions of SALT and 3 of the latest platforms as well. Is that
Good.
clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're all available. So, and I've already started some tests with that. I can mention some of that in a minute. I ran some tests across all the formulas and it's not that bad. There are quite a few, maybe about 10 out of the 70 that have issues with where 2004 is being used and stuff, but we can talk about that in a minute. So let's close that. What's the next one? So let's close that. So yeah, this is the issue where I did try some of the formulas. I'll introduce you to this. I've been having trouble with notifications about tests and stuff. Travis is good, but sometimes you want a central place. So this is an idea I've been trying out. It's a different, let's see if my watertype works without me messing around. I don't think you have to log in though. You can actually view this without logging in. And it collects, so it's like a Slack or like any other chat, but what it does is within each channel, they call them streams, you have topics within each channel. So what happens is when you push messages in, so you can see all of them if you like a normal, this is what a Slack would look like, or some other, where the messages are coming in with any topic at all. But you can actually just look per topic if you like and see what's been going on with that. So if I want to see just the notifications for the SSF formula, I can do that. And what this allows me to do is, for example, the weekly tests now, I intend to push all of them through, where if I go down here a little bit and I show you this, you can get a quick scan of the thumbs up and thumbs downs of formulas that have been passing and failing.
Okay.
So the thumbs downs here are the ones that probably had an Ubuntu. Let's have a look. Probably had, actually, where's the link to the, because I normally do this from my terminal actually. This is it here. So this one here, for example, the packages formula, when I tried to run it with the latest Fedora 32 was failing. And so we can see which ones are, it just gives you a central place to look at all the tests that have been running across our formulas. Do you get that?
You know what? Yeah, when you do these weekly tests, are they on every platform?
No.
Or no, not
No.
every possible platform, but only the ones which are active in Travis. Yeah.
So only the platforms that were already like, if we take like maybe only Debbie. Sorry.
Kind of the ones which are active in Travis. Yeah.
Yeah, so the same platforms that are already working in Travis. So it might only be Debian and Ubuntu that's working already in the matrix. So I'll only use those two as the master images. There's no point using the other ones because they're not even fixed for our normal Travis, our normal matrix. But the idea here is that, at a glance, someone can come through and have a look at these and see, okay, in this particular week, you can see all the passes and any failures, you can have a quick look, get straight to it and see what's going on. you know, so and identify the problems. And actually it's helped a lot because I've already figured out, you know, they're minor changes for 2004. And I'd like to share some of those out as well, if we can. So just having a look here. So I did some of the those bits and pieces. I'll talk about that in this week's one when we get around to it, or this sprint. So let's close that up. Eric, anything you'd like to discuss about this particular formula?
Yeah, no, not especially. It's currently in progress. Some linter gave me some errors, and I don't understand how to fix. The rest is map Jinja for Red Hat and CentOS. I just need to make a converge on my laptop for those and look how it's done. I think it's quite simple, but linters I'm blocked.
Yeah,
I don't know how to solve the problem.
Oh, the linters, yeah. Let's have a quick look at these.
I tried to
Let's see.
remember now.
Okay, Rubcop D.
Rubocop I didn't look. I think there is more
YAML then.
No? Yeah, this one.
Okay, yeah.
This one.
Okay, what we tend to do, where we're using Ginger in any of the YAML lint files. One sec, is this a state file?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, we just add it to the ignore list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can add that.
I think it's a test file.
Yeah. These ones over here are from SaltLint, so we just need to split those lines up so that they're not stretching over 160 characters. It's possible.
Yeah.
It won't be fun though. Actually, that won't be fun at all.
For those lines, I made a variable to split the lines, but I'm not sure what happens if I'm for the if I put a variable. I'm not sure the effect in the output if I will have a character, an additional character will appear or not. I just didn't try that at the moment.
Yeah,
I will.
I understand what you're doing. I've done a few of these, so we can discuss this if necessary. There's a couple of ways around it. One is you can use a format string as well. That tends to work quite easily. A Python, you know, similar to a Python format string using Ginger. That also solves the problem. Or, you know, another thing is actually having the test file where it's already set up. That's a long one. Don't worry. I think we can work this out. This one's not too difficult at all. But all we have to do with this one is just ignore it. Yeah, just ignore.
I will look at it and I come back to you if I need some help.
No problem at all. And that's most of last week's stuff. The rest of it was just general business. So let's have a look at this week's. So as we said, the transferring of net managers. Javier will start hopefully having a look at that soon. Baby GNU wanted us to have a look at his work on and then here's where we're disagreeing about what we like in terms of Ginger. And so it was this one over here first. Let's have a look at this. The prettifying of Ginger files, where they're only Ginger. There's no YAML, there's no state files. It's just Ginger. So if we pull this open a second, and I know Eric isn't very happy about this. He doesn't think it's very nice. So if we just look at the view file layout.
Okay, I understand your point of view.
No, it's okay. It's good to talk because it's good to understand where we're coming from. So if I just open the other
maybe
one
I'm changing my mind. I will look again.
Okay, David, have you got any particular opinions about the Ginger?
Can you show the difference there?
Yeah, I'll show it. 1 second. I'm just pulling up side-by-side comparison. We'll get them side by side. It'll be even easier. So this is one of them. Let's pull this out over here. Oh, that's the zoom thing's come. This zoom thing's a bit finicky. And now it's hijacking my keys. Let's put it to the side here, and let's get the other one. Let's put that to the side over here, and hopefully I can find, where is it gone? Right. Now, and I've pressed the wrong button. Would you believe it? Right, so let's get down to a bit where it gets exciting. Now, if you look over here with the ginger tags being indented, this is obviously a lot easier to write because you just follow your editor and you open up a new ginger tag. This one over here is, the ginger tag is always at the beginning of the file, whether it's a comment or whether it's an actual tag. And what the idea is supposed to be is that it makes it a little bit easier to read. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I would agree with that, I think. So the right-hand side is easier for me, yes.
Yeah. It just makes it a bit more like Python, you know, just a bit easier to see where everything is. So that was the idea behind these ones. Eric, any comment, or you're finding it's okay?
No, as I said, maybe you're right. For long ginger blocks, which are not inserted or we are not mixed with YAML, maybe a good idea. I don't really like the idea of having two ways of formatting the same language or the same ginger, but I understand this point of view, and it's okay for me. It's not really a problem.
All right, excellent. So I think we can start moving forward with this. What Baby Canoe's also done, Daniel's also done, is he's looked at the other file as well. Which one was that? It was, that's already done. Oh, map.ginger as well. That was the other big one. He's done the same thing here. But anyway, so we're both, all of us are quite happy with that. So that's good. We'll move on from that one. And I don't think that's moving forward at the moment. He did have a quick blast at the usage as well. So let's have a look at what he's done and see whether we can give some suggestions. I believe it's the last commit. So it's just the usage section. So what I'll do, I'll open that as a view it. And if we go to the usage section, this is the idea that he was talking about. I think it's taken from, was it the UFW formula as well, where what we have in each formula, we aim to have a usage section that allows people to get a much better idea of how to actually configure, or different configurations they can try. Because these formulas are quite powerful, some of them, they have lots and lots of settings. And, you know, rather than have them try to figure it out through pillar.example themselves, give them a few ideas from here. I mean, is that the sort of outline you'd expect, or?
Yes.
I think, let me try to, I think it's the UFW formula. I think that was the one. Except I've done it wrong. So it's over salt stack. Usage, that's right. And I think this is quite a detailed usage here. So from the simplest sort of configurations you can do all the way through to, you know, all the different types of things you might want to do within your pillar. Yeah?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. And
it would make formulas a little bit easier to take on rather than, you know, just leaving people to it to look through the code or the pillar.example. Yep. So anyone wants to try that with another formula and put that into that user story, that's good as well. So we can have more comparisons to see how that fares. That'd be nice. Right, so the next one, any other thoughts about, I mean, I haven't really had a chance to think about it at all, but you know, that idea we had last week about trying to inject, just in terms of the salt version, nothing else, but injecting a warning in case someone's using an unsupported version of salt into our formulas. Too much, or is that something we could consider doing?
I mean, I think the idea's got potential, but it does seem like a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll just leave it there for now. I think there's a lot behind it, and we have it on our list, and if we do get around to it, we can come back to it.
I mean,
yeah.
If it could be, this is kind of another thing that could be added to like the SPM side of things. But yeah, if you had an SPM and if the SPM elements could recognize that it was running on either an incompatible version of Salt or a vulnerable version of Salt, I think it would fit in with that story.
Do we know anyone who's got any SPM experience?
I don't believe so.
Because it'd be really good to tap into someone to get some.
On that topic, you know, or I don't know if people are aware, there's another kind of formulas ecosystem. I don't know if people are aware of that. Salt formulas.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I know.
And although they kind of have a particular style, I think, of how they go about doing things, and I believe that most of these are connected to a particular company. I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but I believe many of those work for the same company. But I'm not saying we should combine the repos or any organizations or anything like that, but there might be places where we can collaborate. And I think they use SPM in their testing.
Do they?
The problem with this code, I look at it while I was searching for some solutions to organize my data, mostly. And those formulas are heavily, how to say that? You need prerequisites. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, prerequisites. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, all right.
They
use them, and you can just drop them in your organization or in your code. That's the only problem with those. But some seems very mature.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say that we should take on their formulas or combine or anything like that. I'm just thinking there might be areas where we can collaborate.
Yes.
Does someone want to take that on and maybe reach out to them and have a conversation? Because I did have that mentioned right in the actually on that first diagram we did in the first meeting, and I think I left it here at the bottom. Extract lessons from other formula providers, e.g. SALT formulas, and there's also SUSE SALT formulas as well. Have you come across those?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it is there. It's already on there as an epic. So if you anything you want to do, please link it to this epic over here. But let's have a look at this because this is quite interesting as well. Because I think it's backed by SUSE. Not I think it is backed by SUSE, and you know they've got a few formulas as well in there that I think they're still quite. You know they do follow through with. So it's 11 days ago, but I think they put everything in one place. But there may be something worth looking at there as well. Yeah. So yeah, anyone who wants to look at that, that's great. I mean, it has crossed my mind. I did want to talk about it, but since we've got so many things ourselves, I haven't really looked at it. But it's there. Extract lessons from other formula providers, and you know, if there can be some sharing of ideas, that would be good too.
Okay, I might think about doing something on that.
Fantastic, great. Okay, so that will be that section there. I haven't looked at these bug fixes. I think we're just dealing with them one at a time. You know, this require and watch bug I mentioned last week. Since it's not critical, we'll leave that for the time being. Any more about this code owner's idea? Eric did list us some formulas, at least a start for some formulas. So what you were saying, Eric, is that these formulas here are mature or they're not mature?
Those are mature. There are very different, very little changes between the two versions I indicate. The first one is the one we have in our code, and we are in the process of upgrading them. So I take the last revision, the last release, and I look at it, mostly just looking at them. what difference there is in the code. It is only cosmetic or just a map for Jinja reorganization. And I list those while I'm doing it. I just add two today.
Okay, so you're saying that these formulas actually work fine even in now 2-3 years later, and there's no real major adjustments needed to them.
No.
Okay.
But,
I mean, it'd be,
yeah. The idea is listing those that didn't change a lot and are quite compatible. There are no breaking changes and something like that. It doesn't mean there is no evolution to do or to improve things. Okay?
Oh, got you. Right. Now, in that
It's
case,
just that we were talking about the quantity of work to do in all the formulas, and it came in the conversation last meeting that some didn't change a lot. So those didn't change a lot.
so these haven't changed a lot. Got you now. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm concerned about with some of these formulas is gaps in features where maybe these products, these solutions have developed. I mean, apt maybe not, but things like, I suppose, fail to ban. I'm not sure if that has either, but just what was the one I was looking at today? Let's Encrypt, for example. I think, there are maybe certain features that are lacking, and the formulas need to adapt. They need to move on so that they can provide those features. Otherwise, it's not providing what end users actually need. So I'd like to look at it from that angle as well, like which formulas need eyes on it so they can actually develop. They're not maintained well enough, basically.
Yeah,
But
I understand.
yeah, I did email Travis. I did email them twice. I did get a message back, but they thought I was asking for very basic, press this button on GitHub UI and it will connect your repos to. And they didn't get back to my second or third messages, so I'll have to keep chasing them. And otherwise, I think that the ideas we said last week still stand. So if we can, I'm still planning to ask a few contributors to certain formulas if they wouldn't mind stepping up, because I feel like that's the option in my mind that sounds the best starting point, where you have a relationship with some people and they already are taking care of the formula more or less, and asking them if they'd be ready to take it, rather than just sending out messages out there to the world saying, hey, we're looking for maintainers. I think we need to work through steps, work with people we know first, and then hopefully we'll get a few more formulas taken care of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Here are some of the images. This one here, if you guys would like to join in with, that would be really helpful. But when I ran that test about Ubuntu 20.04 and Fedora 32, so I was able to sort of find little fixes in all these formulas here, and I'll push those through soon. But the ones I haven't assigned, I haven't got around to looking at, or I probably won't get around to looking at. So I think one there, Dax, Eric, there's one for you there, Strong Swan. If I was to have a look at that briefly, there's no urgency to this at all. We don't have to move on today or tomorrow, but it's just interesting to keep our formulas working on the very latest platforms. I think that's very useful to have. So for example, here it failed on 20.04. Yeah, Fedora 32 passed, by the way, but 20.04 had a problem. I think it was the service, if I recall. Yeah, it's only one thing here. The service wasn't starting at the end for 20.04. Not found, which sounds strange. I'm not sure why it's not finding the service.
Assign it to me. I will look at it.
Yeah, sure. In your own time, but if you guys want to just jump in there with, I think I've collected most of the formulas there, if not all of them. The ones especially the ones that aren't assigned, if you fancy taking one on and having a look at what could be, what needs to be done to get them ready for the latest platforms, so we can start upgrading those matrices, in a few weeks' time or a month's time, whenever. And any more about the stacker? Was anyone able to have a look at that? Not yet?
Not yet, no.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave that.
I need to change a lot of my code to test it.
You think
I
so?
would
Because
like, but
I think Nicholas said the whole idea was it wasn't too much of a jump. Like literally, I mean, there was bits of the ginger to the cringer. There was a little bit one or two little bits that would have to be changed, but otherwise the idea was to make it almost drop in. No, not really sure.
Yeah, but you still need to make some minor changes with and we have a lot of files.
Yeah,
but
I can understand that.
I hope to look at it to
Excellent.
evaluate it.
Excellent. It'd be good to hear, because I would love to hear feedback on that myself, because I'm interested for some of my longer term ideas, whether I can start looking that direction, and I'm a bit bogged down at the moment, so I don't get a chance to have a look. But yeah, that'd be good. And David said, you said maybe in the next few weeks you might get a chance to look at this Windows runner.
I think that's a definite yes. This next 2 weeks, yeah.
Excellent. Other than
I do have a question on that.
Yeah.
Actually, so far the work that I did was in GitHub Actions. And that was just, well, one reason was that I wanted to become familiar with GitHub Actions because I'd never used it before. But it turned out then that the method of testing actually worked in GitHub Actions and not in Travis. For various reasons, which I could go into, but they're quite boring. But would it be preferable that Windows is tested in Travis rather than GitHub Actions, or is it actually preferable?
You see, I think the way I see these things is getting it working, anywhere is the starting point.
Well, and I mean, I've got it working, certainly.
You see, and that prompts.
I could
Go on.
But I could spend probably a couple of hours getting it working in Travis, I believe. And do we want all of the testing in the same place, or is it, particularly as Windows is kind of an odd one out in many ways, is it actually preferable that it's separate?
Personally, I have no problem if it's in GitHub Actions. I'm good with that too. If that's what's working and it allows us to start, because I mean, this again is another file that would be quite easy to maintain, via the SSF formula.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't bother me at all if it was in GitHub Actions, especially if it's working. That's the important part. If it's working, that's enough for me. We just need automation on it, because when I was running some of the Vagrant tests locally, you can't do it. You can't maintain that regularly to keep testing formulas. So anything
you're right. Yeah.
Anything that automates it, the better.
Okay.
And then if it can be done in Travis, that'll be interesting, because it means we can keep it all together. But I don't think we need to. Like you said, Windows is a bit of a special case.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I'll kind of maybe explain why it doesn't work and whatnot. But the Windows image that they use on Travis is very primitive, and it doesn't have a lot of the Ruby stuff needed by Kitchen installed by default.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure you all know GitHub's now owned by Microsoft.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Microsoft are doing loads in open source now and stuff like that. But the Windows image in GitHub Actions is really kind of well put together, and it's got tons of things already installed.
It sounds like because Microsoft behind it, it sounds like they're going to have all the bells and whistles that you won't get anywhere else.
Yeah, and interestingly, for this formula, which is installing Firefox, the browser, I actually have to uninstall Firefox from the image before running the formula, because it's already installed in the image.
Right. Okay. All right, because they've installed so much already.
So exactly. It's so well packed, this image, that it's even got Firefox and Chrome already in place.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, for a formula which is supposed to install Firefox, you want a proper clean test. So I actually uninstall Firefox before running the formula. So yeah, okay. I'll move forward with GitHub Actions then.
Yeah, and just the thing, I mean, you'd be planning to link this in with WinRepo NG or something?
It's already linked in, yeah.
All right, good. Because I mean, there'll be lots of software that isn't on the image. I mean, Firefox is obviously a very common piece of software,
Yeah.
but other things won't be, and that would be a good way to check those all out.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the plan.
Fantastic. All right, I think we've hit our time. The rest of it, just briefly, I don't think there's anything else important there. Noel's got some new formulas that need to be, he knows there's something that needs to be done with those. It's my introspection and nothing else really. That's it. Oh, last thing. Oh, last quick one. If we can just take a few minutes. Every time I open up formulas, this is what I wanted to ask Tyler about if he was around. Every time I open up a new formula, I'm getting messages about GitHub sponsors. Let's get to. Have you seen it? Is it coming up in yours as well?
I haven't seen it myself.
I keep getting it every. Like if I go to a new formula, oh, there it is again. You see, it's just happening with every formula I go to, and it's. I haven't really looked into it. Yeah, there. It keeps coming up. And is there any value in us looking into using this for our organization? Should we even look at doing this?
So this is for people to contribute money, yeah? So have I got that right?
Well, that's what I don't really understand. That's why I'd want to sort of pick Tyler's brain a bit. Maybe he could find out for us what, not just what it entails, but what's correct in terms of our link with SaltStack and stuff. Would this be something that would be valid? Would it be okay? Because they would sponsor you with money, but then where would that money go? Would that be used for example, running more CI that costs money, or for paying for certain cloud instances maybe want to expand something, then we'd be able to use it for that. Is that the idea behind it? Should we look into it? I mean, what do you guys think? Something worthwhile, or I mean, it's there and it's available.
Well, obviously, we're not going to turn down some money if it's available, but you can sponsor to receive.
Not sure how to manage it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can see what you're saying about paying for CI.
Or even cloud instances for certain things, because there's certain ideas you'd have that you can't do because we don't have those resources. But if we did have a bit of money coming into it, or maybe there could be, what do they call them, bounties for certain formulas. Someone might be willing for that, and then that will encourage, so that things can be moved forward and encouraged, that development into these formulas. Perhaps, I haven't looked into it. I really haven't. I don't know what it's about. I don't really understand how it works. So that's why I was going to open it up for the wider discussion to see if anyone has had a look at it or knows a bit about it.
Well, I think it's something we can keep an eye on. I just want to say Tyler has put in the chat that he can investigate. He can ask about sponsors.
All right, fantastic. That's what I needed. So what I'll do, I'll put Tyler on the assign to, because it needs to come from him first, really. It needs to come from SaltStack before we do anything. There we are. And that's what I needed there. Fantastic. Brilliant. Any other issues to discuss for now?
No.
Okay, excellent. I might try to do a little demonstration. I had it ready by now, but I thought, let's get through the material first. But maybe next time we can have a little demonstration of the SSF in action and stuff as well, the SSF formula.
Great.
All right, excellent. Good to talk to you guys again. So hopefully in 2 weeks' time.
Okay,
Yeah,
cheers,
thank
everyone.
you.
Brilliant. Cheers. Take care, everybody.
Goodbye.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.